So, Kyle, with all of the college football upsets this weekend, and boy, were there a decent amount of them,
hmm
which upset to you sticks out the most and why?
I think for me, this is pretty easy. It's Appalachian State going on the road to beat Texas A&M. I mean, Texas A&M was a top 10 team in the AP poll last week. If I remember correctly, they were number 6. And Appalachian State went on the road and shot the entire world, beating them by the score of 17-14. And mind you, this is coming off the heels where Appalachian State the week prior gave up over 60 points to UNC. To give them credit, though, Appalachian State also did score like 60 points. So even though that they lost to UNC giving up that level of points, they were still actually competitive against UNC despite giving up almost 9 touchdowns essentially. But one of the things I want to point out here specifically from this game was Jimbo Fisher. Jimbo Fisher leading up into this game between Appalachian State and Texas A&M was really kind of singing his praises on Appalachian State and essentially the talent they were bringing back into the fold for this season. He was really glowing about Appalachian State's seniors, 5th-year seniors, sometimes even 6th-year seniors. And he was of the mindset, even though Texas A&M is a top-tier team, he was not looking past Appalachian State. He went on basically like a 1.5 to 2 minute analysis on Appalachian State. And despite the fact that Appalachian State doesn't really get a lot of credit just because they're a mid-level FBS team, it didn't seem like that from Jimbo Fisher's perspective. He really kind of gave them a lot more credit than I think a lot of people were willing to give. And it's kind of interesting that I bring that up because it almost kind of served as like a foreshadow based on the result. Texas A&M just did not play well whatsoever. Appalachian State's defense really took it to heart after giving up 60 points to UNC. To only give up 14 points to a top-tier team like Texas A&M, I mean, what a turnaround. And to do it on the road on top of that is just a testament to Appalachian State. Granted, I wouldn't say that Appalachian State lit it up because they didn't. They only scored 17 points. But they did what they needed to do to beat a really good Texas A&M team. And to be quite honest with you, I still think those people in Boone, North Carolina, because that's where Appalachian State is, they're probably still celebrating because that's one of the biggest upsets that they've had probably since they beat Michigan in the season opener over a decade ago. I mean, that's one of the most memorable upsets in college football history just because nobody expected it, for them to go on the road to the big house and beat the Wolverines. And this one is right up there with them just because, when it comes to Appalachian State, a lot of teams kind of look at those games as tune-up games. To kind of get their team right, to get them into the right mindset, and to beat up a team like Appalachian State is usually what schools set up to do, just because they can. And despite the fact that Appalachian State paid Texas A&M $1.5 million to play them, Appalachian State made it worth it because they probably delivered one of the biggest upsets that we'll see this year because Texas A&M probably should have won this game by 3 or 4 touchdowns, all things considered. But give credit where credit is due. Appalachian State played their asses off in that game, and they deserved to get the win.